Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how much a pair of bespoke shoes cost. In today's video, I'm going to review the current 2022 pricing for some of our favorite English bespoke shoemakers. These are some of our favorite shoemakers in England, and of course anyone that watches this channel knows that those English shoemakers have a special place in our heart. It is, after all, in many ways the ancestral home or the center of proper bespoke shoemaking. Not only are these makers practicing their craft at the absolute highest level, but we've had the opportunity to really get to know them over the years of filming and are proud to call several of these makers good friends. So in this video, I'm going to go through the various makers, talk a little bit about what I find interesting about each one of them, and then discuss their 2022 bespoke shoe pricing. My list is organized by price, so let's first start out with some of the independent shoemakers that are able to allow access to the craft at a slightly more approachable price point. So first, let's start with Nicholas Templeman. Nicholas Templeman is no stranger to anyone that has been following the bespoke shoe industry because he was in fact one of the first makers to break out on his own as an independent maker. Nicholas is someone with whom we filmed on this channel. You can actually watch an interview we filmed with him here in our studio. And he was trained at John Lobb as a young man. What I find interesting about Nicholas is that he was first trained as an artist in college, and so he really brings an artist's eye and aesthetic to the last making process. He is an independent, and so that means that he is doing the last making himself, but he has a network of makers that do the actual making for him. Now, what I like about Nicholas, though, is that he has a small, tight team, just a few people that he has a lot of control over, and they really do work at a very high level. His bespoke shoes start out at 3,000 pounds with shoe trees, and this is not including VAT. So if you're in the United Kingdom, you would have to add 20% to that. But his shoes for an American client, let's say, are 3,000 pounds, which roughly translates to $4,000, and that includes shoe trees. Now, Nicholas does travel to the United States, and he visits generally Washington, D.C., New York, Dallas, Houston, San Francisco, and Los Angeles 2 to 3 times a year. Of course, you can visit his website or inquire through Instagram for his exact cities and dates. But of course, for anyone here in America that is looking to acquire a pair of bespoke shoes, you have to meet with the maker. So either you're traveling to London to do that, or you are seeing them on one of their U.S. trunk shows. Next, we have Dominic Casey. A good friend and an absolute character in the world of shoemaking. We have filmed extensively with Dominic, and so, of course, reference our library if you're looking to learn more about him. Now, what I like about Dominic is that, yes, he again is an independent, but he differs from Nicholas Templeman in that Dominic really does the entire shoemaking process himself. He does the last making, he does the pattern making, he does the clicking, and the actual making of the shoe itself. He's one of the few shoemakers out there that really does it from start to finish. Now, Dominic is based in the United Kingdom. He's done several pairs of shoes for me. Again, we've got a ton of footage with Dominic on this channel. His shoes start out at 3,000 pounds, $4,000. That includes shoe trees, of course, and he does an incredible job. For those that aren't able to make it to London, Dominic does travel to New York 5 times a year, and you can see his travel dates listed on his website. Next is George Cleverley. Their bespoke shoes start at around 3,500 pounds or about $4,500, and that includes shoe trees. Next, we have Daniel Wiegand of Catella Shoemakers. Now, Daniel has the distinction of being the 2019 World Champion in shoemaking, an absolutely exceptional honor for anyone that is making shoes. And now, Daniel approaches his craft with an extremely technical eye, and I have to say, does absolutely superb work. another person that we have filmed with extensively on this channel. So if you're looking to learn more about Daniel's approach towards his craft, of course, take a look at our videos. Now, Daniel's prices start at 3,800 pounds or about 5,100 US dollars. He's going to be visiting the United States March 2nd through 10th, hitting New York, Dallas, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Next, we have Emiko Matsuda. Emiko trained with Terry Moore at Foster & Sons and worked at Foster's for several years before breaking out on her own as an independent shoemaker. Now, what's unique about Emiko is that she primarily caters to the Japanese market and travels over to Japan quite extensively. She doesn't travel to the United States, but she is available to meet with clients in the United Kingdom. Now, Emiko is very well renowned, extremely highly respected, and does absolutely beautiful work. If you don't follow her on Instagram, you absolutely should. She does absolutely superb work. While she was at Foster & Sons, she worked on my last, and I have to say my Foster & Sons shoes are some of my most comfortable that I own. Now, Emiko's price starts out at 4,000 pounds or about 5,400 US dollars, and that is with hinged shoe trees. Next, we have Gaziano Girling. Of course, the famous English shoemaker. They're very well known for their factory-made Goodyear welted dress shoes, but Tony Gaziano and Dean Girling actually got their start in Bespoke. Tony Gaziano, being a last maker, is extremely highly regarded, and I've heard him described as one of the best last makers of this generation of last makers out there. Now, what's unique about Gaziano and Girling is that Tony and Dean have returned back to the bespoke shoemaking business. Previously, they had other makers doing the work. Now, Tony is doing the lasts. Dean is directly supervising the making. So for these two legendary individuals to be directly involved in the bespoke shoemaking process, in my opinion, is really an exceptional opportunity, especially for those that are really appreciative of the craft. What's unique about Gaziano and Girling is that they actually have a tiered pricing structure for their bespoke. The first pair is a little bit more expensive than the subsequent pairs, and that basically accounts for the extra work that goes into not only the last making, but also their extensive fitting process. We've got videos of this process on our website, so again, if you're looking to learn anything about Gaziano and Girling, make sure you check out our videos. You can find the links in the description of this video. Now, the first pair of shoes with Gaziano and Girling starts out at 5,200 pounds. That roughly translates to about 7,000 US dollars. But the second pair drops down by 700 pounds to 4,500 pounds a pair, which is around $6,000. Now, Gaziano and Girling travels to the United States as part of the London Collective. Their dates can be found on their website, but generally they hit Los Angeles, Dallas, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and New York, and then they also travel to other international markets. So if you're interested in learning more about Gaziano and Girling, the best place, of course, is always to reference back to their website. Next, we have Henry Maxwell. Now, this is a name you may not be familiar with. This is actually the Foster & Sons business. Now, Foster & Sons, I guess technically they lost the trademark, if you will, so they had to rebrand under Henry Maxwell. They have relocated off of German Street. They're no longer at their premises there, but they're still making bespoke shoes. They've really kind of reduced and consolidated down the business to just bespoke shoemaking. Their bespoke shoes start at 4,500 pounds or about 6,000 US dollars, and they do travel to the United States. You can check out their Instagram or their webpage for more details on their travel itinerary. And last, but certainly not least, is one of the most famous shoemakers in the world, John Lobb, the original John Lobb, located on St. James's Street. Again, we have filmed extensively with the Lobbs. It was an honor and a privilege even to be welcomed inside their shop on St. James's with our cameras. They are known for being exceptionally private and discreet, so for us to be welcomed in really was a special moment. Now, John Lobb, without question, is the most expensive of the English bespoke shoemakers, but there is a reason for that. They are widely regarded as doing some of the best work out there, and there is no question that owning a pair of John Lobbs really does put you in a class of your own. You are in their measurement book with the likes of kings, heads of states, titans of industry, movie stars, some of the most powerful, wealthy, and best-dressed men in the world. A pair of bespoke shoes from John Lobb starts at around 6,000 pounds. That is with a pair of hinged shoe trees, and that works out to roughly $8,100. Now, again, walking into John Lobb, having your feet measured and having them make a pair of shoes is really a pilgrimage, if you will. And if you haven't seen our video with John Lobb, you should take a look at that because it's really abundantly clear why they are so special. Another important note is that John Lobb does travel quite extensively to the United States. They come 2 or 3 times a year. You can inquire into their travel schedule through their website. And generally they visit New York, Palm Beach, San Francisco, Atlanta, Chicago, Boston, Dallas, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles. So again, quite an extensive list of cities that John Lobb is visiting here in the United States. And that is important because, again, to really fully maximize that bespoke shoemaking process, you need to be able to meet with them personally. One more comment as a footnote is that John Lobb 1849, the original John Lobb, is different than johnlobb.com, which is the French John Lobb that is owned by Hermes. So the French house, the long story, they do bespoke also, but they are a completely separate company from the John Lobb, the original John Lobb that we're talking about here. So make sure you don't mix those up. If you just Google John Lobb, you're more than likely going to stumble upon the wrong website. John Lobb 1849 just launched a new website and a new social media presence that is really exceptional. So make sure you check those out. So there we have it. That is my 2022 roundup of English bespoke shoemakers and their prices. And again, it is very exciting to see that after what without question has been a difficult few years, that these bespoke shoemakers are thriving. They're back at their travel schedules and are available to make bespoke shoes again for their American and international clients. For anyone passionate about quality, craftsmanship, and tradition, of course, take a look at these bespoke shoemakers. We've got links to all their websites and their social media accounts in the description of this video. And of course, here on Kirby Allison, we have extensive footage with these makers showcasing their craft. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, let me know below in the comments section of this video. If you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you've subscribed. And if you're interested in supporting this channel, make sure you take an opportunity to visit kirbyallison.com or visit our new YouTube channel membership page or our Patreon page. These are 2 new ways to support the videos that we're filming here at Kirby Allison. Of course, I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Thanks for watching.